Sorang is weird to me. Like, she just found out that her husband is cheating on her. Well, she saw lipstick on her husband's shirt. And then she left the house. She went out to clear her head. And then while she was out, she saw Ki-jun and Young-hoo together, and she was touching his face. And all of a sudden, she felt better because now she saw that, quote, the other girl's husband, Ah Jung's husband, was also cheating, quote, cheating on her. And I'm like, who hurt you?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another review on the Review Garden.
And the other question is, why does she hate her so much? When you see in the scene when she was in her car with her husband in episode 5, right? She's like, oh, Ajung doesn't know her place now that she's with a rich guy. And I'm like, what is your problem with her? Like, why do you hate her? Why did you go steal her man? And you stole her man. You don't even like him. You keep hitting him or whatever it is when you guys are in private. And then after that, now he's cheating on you. Like, you guys are not even a good couple. You just wanted him because Ha-jung did. Also, in episode 5, Ki-jun agreed to, be married to her. But in his agreement, he's like, we don't need to be seen with each other. The sole purpose of this agreement is for you to use it for, Suran, and then for me to use it with the president. Then other than that, we don't need to be talking to anyone about it. So when Sung-hee, checked back in with her, she's like, this is not what I was expecting. I mean, granted, it's just a contract. It's not like, this is the beginning of their contract. This is different than the contract series that you see later on, where their contracts, they're living together and all that. Right now, episode 5, they're not doing anything together. It's just for the two of them to carry on with their business. And now that, Yoon, whatever her name is, the one that caused the brothers to fight, now that she's back in the picture, it's going to be hard for him to even concentrate at the moment, And once she finds out that he's, quote, married, I'm pretty sure she's going to start wreaking havoc on everyone. Soran just couldn't wait to go rub it in, Ajung's face that she saw her quote, husband, cheating on her. So she went and told her, and Ajung got really mad. She went into his hotel to pretty much tell him, like, hey, don't you dare look at another woman. and like, it was so funny because he's like, hello, are you forgetting something? We're not really married. And she's like, well, everyone knows that you're married to me and I cannot stand a cheating husband. So then as she's in the elevator going back, she's like, oh, maybe he's, maybe he wants to look at other women, but my sunbae would never do that. And then who's walking into the elevator with another woman? Suran, husband, cheating on her in public And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? First of all, why would you even come to this hotel? You know, whether it's fake or not, but in your mind, you know your friend is married to the CEO of that hotel. So why would you even go there? Right? So, and then she caught him cheating on Sorang, but the difference is, she's disappointed, whereas Sorang was excited to go rub it in her face. Kijun and Hajung found out pretty much at the same time that the brother knew both of them. So Kijun found out that Sungyi and Hajung knew each other, and she found out that they are brothers. He was waiting for her to let her know that she could use his house for the housewarming party that she has to do for Sorong and the other three girls. And then he saw both of them. Walking up to her house together. And he got mad at her at first, and I'm like, she's the one who, this is episode 6. She didn't put 1 and 2 together, and Sung-hee kind of told her, like, hey, you're kind of a little slow. You're still not getting it. How I am able to do these things for you, how I'm able to help you. I mean, we even got the same last name. I mean, there was a moment in the beginning when she was like, is their last name really a popular last name? Like, why do they have the same last name? But it's kind of funny. And now she has to plan for this housewarming party, and she doesn't have anywhere to host it yet. And instead of just telling the girl no and standing firm on the no, she's still letting the girl manipulate her. So Kijun agreed to let her have the party at his house. So she was getting everything ready, and he went to the movies to kind of give her the space in his house with his secretary. And while he was at the movies, Yoonju called him and was like, come over for dinner, because she bought lobster and that it was too much for her. So then they kind of showed you that he didn't go to her. He stayed at the movie theater. And then, instead of going to dinner over there, he went back to his house so that he can act like the perfect husband for Hajung. And, all the girls are like getting jealous. And, Suran being her usual self. And then her husband goes to Hajung and is like, don't tell my wife about what you saw in the elevator. You know how she is. And, Hajung is like, I have no intentions of telling her that. And, like, you can see the difference between the two. As soon as, Soran saw what she saw, she ran to Hajung and to kind of gloat in her face. And, Hajung is still kind of being considerate to her, even though she was disappointed by her sunbae. While they are at the party, the housewarming party, they started singing, doing karaoke. And then I guess they... This scene was just so funny because I guess they kind of felt the music, and then they shared their first kiss, and everyone's in the room just like... That was the end of episode 6 and the beginning of episode 7. It's so funny. Kijun's aunt came over to the house while they were having the party. And she pretty much had to go hide in the closet because if his aunt saw her, it would be a whole different story. So, she came, the friends were still in the house, and she decided to stay longer. And Suran's husband was the one doing karaoke at this time. And everybody was having a good time except for Surang, Kijun, and Hajang, who was still in the closet. While they were at the gym, Suran and her friends, the lady who's cheating with her husband comes to her and is like, "You're his wife, right? You must have a wonderful relationship." And then she walked away. And that's when she realized it's the girl her husband is cheating with. And I'm like, girl, it's the audacity. You would come up to her and be like, "Oh, you guys must have a good relationship." But then again, they're both the same. They want to gloat in your face if they find out there's something wrong, right? So Suran goes to her husband's work and beats him up. His mouth, his lips were bleeding, his face was, oh my gosh. So then he starts crying, "Why me?" And I'm like, you both deserve what is happening to you. You definitely deserve the beating and more. And she deserves that because it shows you that the two of them were not meant to be together. You only went after him because your friend, quote friend, was interested in him. That's the only reason you went after him. The two of you were not supposed to be together. Ha-jung had to go back to Ki-jun's house because after the party, when everyone left and he went to get her out of the closet, she was supposed to be cleaning up the place, right? So then she asked him about the kiss, and she's like, "About the kiss," da, da, da. And he's like, "I was just acting." So that got her mad and she walked out. So then the next day, he had his maid come and clean the house, and he told her, don't worry about it and take a few days off. He calls Ha-jung and says, "You need to clean the house because that's what you promised you were gonna do." So when she went over there, she was like, she asked him about the kiss again, why was it an act? And he's like, "Don't tell me this was your first kiss." But when you really think about it, it kind of is her first kiss if she's never gone out with anyone or was obsessed with that dude, Surang's husband, for the longest time, right? So he was like, no, he wasn't acting and stuff like that. So while they were talking, Sung-hee came in because he needed to bring the clothes that he lent her back to the person. And I'm not sure if he heard the conversation going, what the conversation was, but, he was mad at everyone involved. And he kind of dragged her out of the house and then told her that she was being delusional. So it's what's going on through his head right now? Because yesterday, while they were having the party, he was at Yoon, whatever, the girl's house, Yoonju. He was at her house while she was waiting for him. So I don't really know what's going through his head right now. Ki-jun got sick because he ate the leftover food that Ha-jung left in the fridge for him. And also he was dealing with the stress because, Youngju is back and she's asking to start over, and his aunt and everybody else is telling him like, no, don't do it because of, Sung Hee. He just came back. There's no reason to stir that up again. And he's torn and he doesn't know what exactly he's feeling about Ha-Jung. So, he's under a lot of stress. Plus, he ate the bad food, so he got sick. And then it was a good thing around the time he got sick that Ha-Jung came to give him back the necklace that she got from the president, the Chinese president. So when she called the doctor, and then she stayed to take care of him. When she was at work, she was asking him like, hey, how are you? And he didn't respond back. I mean, he was trying to, but he didn't know like what to say. Like, depending on what he said would be different outcomes. So he decided not to say anything. So she drove to his house worried, and he was like, well, are we really in a relationship? And she got mad and she drove off. But during this whole thing of him not going to work, the president left the hotel. But they didn't say what happened, but it looked like it was something happened because the wife was crying. But they went over there to say, have a good flight and thank you for staying with us. And Ha-Jung, consoled the wife and was wiping her tears. And the husband decided to sign the contract with Ki-jun. So he's going into the Chinese market now. And, the president kind of told him like, hey, she's really a fine woman. So now he's driving her back home. It's the fact that Ha-Jung keeps letting Soran get in her head, right? Her marriage is not going well. Her marriage is not good. So what does she does in her pastime? Trying to ruin, quote, Ha-Jung's marriage, right? So she spent the whole time looking up Yoonju and getting all this information about her, pretty much stalking her. And then she goes to Ha-Jung and tells her, your husband used to be married. This is the girl. This is where she lives. And then this girl actually goes to the other girl's house at night. I'm like, what are you doing over there? Like, what are you trying to see exactly? Like, you're not even in a real relationship with him. And that's why, she kind of needs to back away a little bit. Because she's letting Soran get too much weight into her head. And after, she went to the girl's house, she went and got drunk with her coworkers. And then somehow it happened when she was taking the cab home, she ended up at Ji-Kun's house. And, she's pretty much she spent the night there, right? So in the morning when she woke up, he's still under the impression, that she's still the same, but she's looking at him differently and acting differently because she went to go see what the ex looked like. And I'm guessing she's feeling some way and be like, oh, she's so pretty. How can I compare? Da, 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 da. Yeah, so to get her back into her, normal self, he was like, she was about to drink soda, and then, he shook it before, and then they ended up in this whole soda fight type of thing. Not really fight, but like play fight. And then, he kissed her again. And then when obviously she asked, is this real or is this pretend? Is this an act again or is this? And he was like, it's for real, right? So then we have a scene where Yoonju goes to see Sung-hee and is like, do you still like me? Oppa is pushing me away because you still like me. And like she's pretty much crying in front of this man saying, stop liking me. I want to go back to Ji-kun. So, right after, while Ji-kun and Ha-jung were together, his aunt called and was like, you need to take care of the whole Yoonju situation because, you can't keep letting it go so far. Either I take care of it or you take care of it. And he's like, stop. There's nothing to take care of. Like, just let it be. And she's like, you take care of it or I take care of it. Which, in a way, the aunt kind of did, because she did meet with Yoonju and she's like, you need to stop. Like, leave them alone. Like, the boys should not be fighting because of you. Then you see after that conversation, after both conversations, you see Sung-hee goes to see Ji-kun and he's like, stop breaking Yoonju's heart because of me. I'm over it. You don't have to worry about anything. If you love her and you think it's because of me, don't worry about me. But I mean, maybe if it was a while ago, he would have, jumped at the chance. But now I feel like he is conflicted because he's starting to have feelings for Ha-jung. So, like, that's a decision he's going to have to make and, figure out who he wants to be with. Maybe I spoke too soon, but like his aunt, she's like, I'm so over this girl. Like, get out of the picture. You are causing enough, between the two brothers. So she went ahead and, she called K-Jun first to come meet with her. And then she had her assistant pick up Ha-jung, and then Yoonju walked in to I'm guessing it was a restaurant. Let's say it was a restaurant. And then she walks in and she's all four of them are sitting on the table, and then she goes, I guess K-Jun, you should introduce Yoonju to your wife. And she's like, you heard the rumors. They were keeping it quiet because, I didn't approve of the marriage. But because of you, I think I'm approving it now. She's like, get the fuck out of here. She's like, so then, Yoonju is like, she starts crying and she runs out, and then K-Jun runs out after her. And then, at least she apologized to, at least the aunt apologized to Ha-jung, but like Ha-jung ran out after him and he was like, Biane. So he chose to run after Yunju. So, and then Hajong goes to wait for him at his house. So who knows what's going to happen, and who knows how, this episode is going to end. This is all happening, let's say, 50 minutes into episode 8. I guess I should also note that, the aunt does know about the whole contract marriage, and she pretty much knows everything, because when she called K-June's secretary into her office, he at first he was being loyal, but then when the aunt was like, so how far along is she? Because that's the only reason, they would get married secretly. And then that's when he broke down and told her everything. Even though he was scared of her, but he was still showing some sort of loyalty. But then that's when he was like, what kind of man do you think he is? She's like, well, I don't know. You never know these days. Men are men. So after running after her, he met up with her at the beach. And I'm guessing they made up because that's what, Hajong went over her house. I'm like, what are you doing? I feel like no matter what happened, don't go over her house. She went over his house and he wasn't there. So she kept calling him. And then, she went over her house. She ended up spending the night on the doorstep. And then when the two of them come back in the morning, you look weird. So when the two of them come back in the morning, Yunju is like, oh, well, he explained everything. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have made up. I'm like, what? And then she invites the girl in to talk. And then, the inside of her house is all with their pictures. Ki-jun and Yunju. And I'm like, he's just there quiet. He's not even saying anything. And I'm like, why did you even kiss her if you were just gonna make up with the other girl? And I think that was the problem. The fact that, if he had just kept it cool, kept it contract, her feelings wouldn't have gone all the way like that. But you kissed her and you told her it wasn't an act the second time. And then you just expecting her to, and you just letting this happen, and you're not even saying anything when you're the one in the middle of it, right? So she leaves all flustered, and, she's like, it is what it is. She didn't say it is what it is. She just said, you guys, you're loyal, so I get it. So she just, went to work. And then afterwards, they show you Soran finds out that Hajong knew about, her husband cheating. So the whole house is a mess. She's trying to kick him out and throwing things at him. And then he finally leaves, and Hajong comes in, and she's like, yep, well, now this is how we live. And it's always in the moments where Soran is feeling like crap, that she should be soaking in her crap, that something worse happens to Hajong, that, it makes her feel better. It makes Soran feel better. So in the moment she's kicking out her husband, after she kicks out her husband, Hajong, comes into her house and pretty much tells her that everything's fake from the beginning to the end. She's not married. She's not married to him. And that was the end of episode 8. And this wraps up our journey on the Review Garden. Thank you for joining me today as we explored this drama. If you enjoyed this reaction and review, please remember to subscribe for more insightful videos. Don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback helps our channel grow. As always, I'm truly grateful for your support and for joining me on this journey on the Review Garden. Until next time, and happy listening. Bye.